Welcome to part 3 of my Acer Racer electric conversion project. Last time had gotten most of the electronics working. This time I've actually been able to make a few updates and I'm ready to try out the motor. So I've added this metal bracket attached directly to the frame. Used a plastic motor mount to hold my motor on. It's really strong. Plastic, and of course I've done the number 35 chain. Now everything's nice and sturdy, which is a change from last time. I've updated the battery to a lithium iron phosphate battery. It's 20 amp hour. It can do 30 amps continuous. I'm not sure whether I'm getting that. I'm still not sure whether I'm getting a full 24 volts from my DC to DC conversion block. So that's a work in progress. But I'm really happy now because everything is together and I am looking to test it out here in just a few minutes. I've got the wheels on, and now I just need to build a box around this back plate because something's attached firmly, so I'm a little worried that everything's going to slide out. But let's test out the electronics first. This is how you can show you how everything is looking. So I have the battery hooked up to my Spectrum receiver, and so I'll turn on my remote control, and so that should pair quickly, and it has. So then turn on my master power switch, and I've got power running and solid lights. That's great. So everything is in order, and so then I turn the throttle up. It seems to be have a good amount of oomph to it now, which is great, but I'm not sure if it's going to be enough to move me still. So the next part of the video will be this thing on the ground. Ooh boy. That's why I need to get a different way to control the forward and back on this thing, because it's comes to a complete stop if I very easily. So okay, so yeah, the next part of the video will be me trying this thing out on the ground, see if it moves forward and if it can hold, if it actually can move a person. So here goes nothing.
2 hours later.
So first impressions of the go-kart, it's way underpowered. I'm not sure if that has to do with, first off, I have 4 flat tires, so that's not helping, especially going over grass and up and down terrain. The single EV Warrior motor seems very underpowered. Plus, I'm using just the one 12-volt lithium iron phosphate battery, which seems to have plenty of electrical power, but the motor is smoking when I put it up to 30 amps and blew one fuse at 30 amps with this configuration. So I'm wondering if I need to look into maybe using a second 12-volt battery and do away with the DC to DC converter. Plus, I also need to maybe add a tensioner onto the chain here. It's got a little bit too much slack in it, I think. Also, I need to find a way to control the speed on the go-kart itself. Right now, I'm just using the remote control, which seems to be work fine, especially with my daughter driving the go-kart. But she did a great job, but I would like to have a more permanent way to control the speed on this. Plus, I might put a second EV Warrior motor on it, or I might do away with the EV Warrior altogether and just use maybe like a mag motor, an amp flow, Black Max motor or something like that to give it a lot more torque and power. But overall, I'm very happy. It works, and it was fairly inexpensive. The most expensive part on here was the battery, but that is a long-term investment, I feel, because it added about $175 for the battery. It's not like a traditional sealed lead acid battery that was inexpensive, but also very harmful to the environment and difficult to recycle. This lithium iron phosphate battery is much more environmentally friendly. Plus, it puts out continuous 30 amps, which is great, and it's super lightweight. So for the power that the power to weight ratio is great. So or the energy to weight ratio is great. So overall, I'm very happy. There's a lot more work to do with this, and I feel like this is gonna be a longer term project. Making changes here and there as I can. But the next iteration, I'll have 4 new tires, and I might try to put a second EV Warrior motor on this, so that way I have both rear wheels driving. I also would love to see if there's an option to do like a flywheel on this thing, because I use so much amperage just to get the wheel moving, just a ton of current. So if I can see a way to spin up to begin with and then have that rotational momentum, the rotational force translate into the rear drive wheels, that would be a great option. So other than that, I'm really happy. Hope you all enjoyed the video, and here's hoping the next one will be an improvement over the current version. So I hope you all have a great week, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thanks.